Is it Jay? How bad is it?
He never regained consciousness. He's dead.
What's up, guys? Jay is dead here. Figured I'd try something new because I got tired of holding that microphone. So I just clipped it to my shirt. I don't care. It looks ridiculous to me. I know people are good at, disguising it or whatever, but I just don't care. I was checking the date. Today to see, like, well, man, how long's it been? In like 2 days, it's officially going to be 2 months with me without a job. And I got to say, it's felt like 2 years. It's literally felt like 2 years, and it's been pure hell every day, from applying to jobs every day to going on interviews and not hear anything back, or maybe get a call back, go to the second round of an interview, and then you don't hear nothing, and then when you call them, you still don't hear nothing. So it's like, at this point, you can only do, what you can do. But that's just real quick. That's not what this video is going to be about. This is going to be if you're struggling with depression or anxiety or any of those negative emotions of the sort, then this video is for you. So I was diagnosed back in 2005. I want to believe it was around 2005. I was diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and panic disorder. How I found this out was, I'll never forget this day. It was my first ever panic attack. I was laying in my bed. I was watching a movie. I remember the movie and everything. It was Reign of Fire, the one with the dragons and shit with Matthew McConaughey. I was watching that. And I was perfectly normal. Then all of a sudden, it felt like the TV got like zoop, zoop, like tunnel vision, like zoom vision or something. I don't know. But I popped out of bed, ran out into the hallway, and collapsed and started like panicking and breathing real heavy. And the girlfriend I had at the time freaked out, called 911. So the paramedics got there to the house and got inside the ambulance. I remember asking the guy, like panicking, freaking out, like, how's my vitals, man? How's my vitals? How do they look? And the guy's just, I know how they do. They go like something's wrong, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh shit, great, I'm gonna die. So no, I went to the hospital, they checked me out, they did the blood work, they did all that, yada, yada, yada. Doctor comes in, says, you have anxiety. And he asked me a whole bunch of questions about what I was feeling, feelings of impending doom and rapid heart rate and, intense shallow breathing, all that. I had all that. So that's how it started with anxiety. And I struggled with that for a long time. I was taking, at the time it was, the dragonfly just flew in here and it's nighttime. Look at that. But I struggled with that for a long time, for years and years and years. I was taking Zoloft, I was taking Xanax, and I mean, they did their job. It kind of kept, my mood all right. It wasn't until like about 2000, I want to say 15, when I had, I just didn't want to take these medications anymore. They were making me feel like shit. So I stopped taking them. Cold turkey. No more Xanax, no more Zoloft. The withdrawals were crazy because it's not like that I wanted to take those pills. I really didn't want to take them. I think one of the withdrawal symptoms I had, I think it's called vertigo. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure, but it felt like the world was like trembling underneath my feet. Like I was dizzy sometimes. I kind of would lose my balance and stuff, So I got off of the medications and I just started smoking weed. Imagine that, I just started smoking weed. Sometimes it would make it worse. Sometimes it would, it would help it. But I haven't smoked weed in over a year now. So yeah. It was just wild with that. I don't know why I stopped taking them per se. It was basically just because I just didn't want to be medicated anymore. I felt like a zombie, you know what I mean? So somehow, some way, between that time and now, I kind of figured out, I still don't know what the method is. Like if I'm gonna have an anxiety attack or a panic attack, how I can just fight it off. It's almost like I feel it in the pit of my stomach sometimes. Like, I haven't really had anything trigger a panic attack until recently, until all this, you know, being laid off again after you know, holding like 2 jobs down in 1 year. I don't know how my mind just blocks it. It's weird, but it's draining. Like, it's like almost like I'm using all the energy I have just to fend that off. You know, it sucks. You know, that's one thing. That's one thing, those panic attacks. But the depression, oh, that is, to me, that is by far the worst thing that can be wrong with somebody mentally, from my experience. I mean, just, you know, somebody else might have another opinion, but from my experience, depression to me is waking up in the morning mad that you woke up, which is like what I do every day. And that's sad to say, but at least I'm saying it. I'm not suicidal or anything like that. But it's like, it's sad to say that you wake up in the morning and you're like, fuck, man, I woke up. You know, I got to deal with this shit again. But to me, depression is like the world around me feels colorless. Like, there's no vibrance to it anymore. The things that I used to enjoy doing, I don't enjoy doing anymore. I don't take care of things the way I should, like I used to. And I think that's a lot of people. You know, look at my hair. I need to get my hair faded on the sides and stuff. And, you know, I'm keeping all this still growing, but I need to get that done and get my beard trimmed down. Even though I think it looks kind of nice. I might let that grow a little bit and just get it lined up. But yeah, do that. And oh, you know, and by the way, it's like for everybody that was leaving comments about, oh, it's going to be a hard time for you to get a job because of your knuckle tats and your neck tats and all that. Wait till this is gone on the sides. You're going to see I have 2 big tattoos on the sides of my head. So it's like, good luck getting a job with all them tattoos. Police officers have tattoos. EMTs have tattoos. I'm not trying to work in an office. And if I am, you know, I'll wear long sleeves. And you see the tattoos on my head, then it is what it is. It's not like they're derogatory. I've gotten compliments on all of my tattoos, basically. So, you know, whoever thinks that, you got the wrong thing in mind, you know? But, you know, that was a nice little lively point of this video. But back to the subject at hand. You know, anxiety, depression, panic disorder, how those things can lead down a darker path, like suicidal. At what point I was. At one point I was like, you know what, man, I'm just going to do some crazy shit and I'm just going to get out of here. But, you know, number 1, because of my faith, I don't do it. Number 2, I don't have the balls to do it. You know, and number 3, I'm not going to give people that know me any kind of satisfaction saying, oh, he did it, now this is my chance to jump on social media and say, oh my God, I loved him and this and that and blah, blah, blah. I don't need that shit on my soul. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to push through it and truck through it, because that's all I've ever done my entire life was like mow through shit. Even when I didn't have it in me, I still do it. I'm still right now doing it. But I see stories every other day. This person deleted themselves. The other person deleted themselves. Like, this guy jumped off a bridge. This guy blew his head off. I'm going to say all these things are true. I'm not going to say unalive and all that other nonsense. Just tell it how it is. It's just like, you know, you gotta find somebody that you can confide in if you're feeling those type of feelings. If you don't just sit there and stew in them. Believe me, I've done it. I've sat there and stewed with suicidal thoughts for days and days and days. And I'm telling you, if the place that I'm in right now is dark, those were the darkest times of my life. I mean, and this is recently, I mean dark. It was insane. You know, I don't care if it's me. You can reach out to me personally if you want to talk about those things, if you're feeling that way. If you need help, you need somebody to be in your corner, I'm here. I'm not asking nobody for no money. I'm not a beggar. To me, it's a blessing just to be able to be here and be called a content creator, even though I don't call this content. To me, it's just, you know, being alive in a world that just seems like it's not suitable for me anymore, you know, and a lot of people feel that way. It's not just me. So, you know, to me, I'm blessed to be able to be developing a community of people that can just be there for each other. So I don't want anybody to be suicidal. I don't want anybody to be depressed or anxious, but that's just how life, that's the cards were dealt, you know. I didn't want to be this way. You know, I didn't want to be abandoned. You know, I didn't want to, you know, become a heavy drinker. You know, when I got so depressed, I didn't want to, you know, be where I'm at right now. I didn't ask to be diagnosed with all these things. It's just, that's the way life happens sometimes. And it's how we adjust our course, I think, that will ultimately affect where our path leads to. So that's why, like, as hard as it is, every day, some days I wake up and I feel like death, like garbage, just mentally. But I still push through the day. I still apply for jobs. I still go out there looking for work. And then there's days where I feel kind of okay, like positive, like, you know, I got a feeling something's gonna happen this week. And then when something doesn't happen that week, I get down again, and then the weekend passes, and then Monday hits again, like, damn, I should be at work, but I'm not. So yeah, I know I'm all over the place, guys. That's just kind of how I am. I'm just like a natural conversationalist where we can jump from one thing to the other. But mental health, period, like, that doesn't get enough attention. You know, you're people that'll just leave here and be like, damn, so and so themselves, and I wonder why. You knew. Trust me, when that happens, a lot of people know. They just don't say anything. They know why. Because there's so many different ways for people to reach out for help and not even directly ask for help. It could be just calling saying, hey, I'm having a really bad day. Or, you know, shooting somebody a text like, you know, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Or calling somebody at a weird hour and they don't get the phone, and that person could have been the one that stopped them from doing it. That's why, like, whenever my phone rings, I make damn sure that I answer that thing. I answer it. If it's somebody I know, because I don't know what the hell's on your mind, especially if it's at a weird time of night or day, whatever. But yeah, guys, it's just something to think about. I'm gonna try to make some hamburgers right now for myself, and I messed around and didn't get any ketchup, so I'm gonna have to use mayonnaise, but it's all good. Food is food, right? So thank you all for listening. I love interacting with all of you in the comment sections. All your comments have been nothing but good things, the majority of them. And I'll see you in the next one. Who knows? Maybe the next video I'll make it like you know, how I grew up and how things were and how I wish things were different, and, you know, certain decisions that I made back then that maybe could have, you know, put me on a different path today. You know, I'm thinking about it, but we'll see. But until then, guys, I hope you have a blessed evening. I'll see you next time.